Hello, Archer family. Welcome to our breaking news special story. Not tea with Reggie. Don't hang out with Robert. Amanda's not here. Show.
Hola.
Anyways, we have some updated news. This is all about fam trips. This is just about the do's and don'ts when you're on a fam trip. Robert and I thought we would do this together and go over the updates of fam trips. We did a fam trips thing about 3 years ago, and we just want to update everything. And we have a slideshow presentation for everyone here to listen to. So we're going to go to the first slide here. All right, what is a fam trip? Fam trips or familiarization trips are more than just a perk for travel agents. Everything's right here on our screen, so I'm not going to read the whole thing. But it's an experience that agents can then pass on to their clients with confidence. So fam trips are so vital to your business, but it's very significant that you understand the do's and don'ts of fam trips. Next slide.
Well, they're also vital to your business and your personal life because they're extremely fun to go on and they're extremely discounted trips. I personally have been on many fam trips in my life. No, so has Reggie.
Yep.
And they offer the ability to get extremely discounted trips. A lot of times mostly paid for by the supplier or the cruise line or whoever is sponsoring the fam trip. But like Reggie said, they're familiarization trips. So they matter because unless you are familiar with a product, unless you are well versed in a product and know it from front to back, then it's very difficult. It's very difficult to sell that product. So when you have knowledge about it, it's much easier to sell, especially when you have firsthand knowledge and you've experienced it.
Absolutely. Perfect. Well said. Next slide, real quick. Here we go. So why fam trip matters, part 2, networking. It's so important for you to network your program. Fam trips often include opportunities to network with suppliers in that industry. I just went on the Icon, hung out with Randy, but I hung out with other travel agents and just listened to their stories. We didn't talk about, all the different things. We just got to know each other. We networked. I had met new friends on the trip. So networking about the business, maybe they'll give you some ideas that you didn't think about on some sales tips. I met with a lot of royal people on the Icon and just networking with them. They gave me some good insight, not only about my fam trip on the Icon, but just on royal cruise ships alone. The other one is just the travel industry is constantly evolving. So this just keeps you connected at the ground level or at the sea level about what's going on in that industry. So that's number 2. So next slide.
Fam trips and why they matter, number 3.
Sorry, it's hard for us to see our
really
slides sometimes.
Personal growth. Oh, well, yeah, like what I was saying, before. I mean, they're extremely fun trips to go on, and they make you, have the ability to experience more parts of the world that maybe you wouldn't otherwise be able to go on. I know that I personally have been on some trips, even the one that I broadcasted from that many of you might have seen recently on the Virgin Voyages ship. That was a fam trip. And just to give you guys kind of an idea, I was able to go on that trip and pay only the port taxes and fees. So that is that's a significant discount. And so those are the types of trips that they offer. And not only does it allow you to broaden your horizons as far as where you go, it offers you more opportunities to go to the places that maybe you wouldn't have been able to go before. So
absolutely,
that's super important in this industry. Absolutely.
100%. Next slide. What does fam mean? It's very cool. Like we just said earlier, it's all about getting to know the product. So whether it's on a cruise ship or a hotel, a land package, it's get to know what's going on. Travel agents are often invited to participate in these fam trips based on their sales performance. So the more you sell that product knows about you. They know all the ins and outs. So on the Icon, people who got invited, they're selling a lot of Royal. So Royal invited those agents to the Icon, which was a special event. He went on a trip on another cruise. That was Virgin, correct?
Correct.
And that's because Archer and Evolution, they're selling a lot of Virgin. And Virgin wants us to get in front of you and sell more packages for you guys. So this is great opportunities for you to learn about your business. Fam trips, that's what they are. Familiarization. The don't list. Oh, here we go.
All right, look, you guys. This is ultimately pretty simple. Some major don'ts include things that you would not even really have to think about. Whether it's a cruise, whether it's a hotel, whether it's a tour, don't remove things that aren't yours. That's a pretty simple one. You know, it usually doesn't need to be said, but we just want to reiterate even the most common ones, because just in case, you know, the trip is free, the stuff is not. And it's so hard to read.
The restrooms, don't use the restrooms.
Oh, yes. I think one of the more major ones is
we're going to work on his eyesight.
oh, my eyesight's horrible. Anyway, we'll go to the next slide.
Well, here, before we get started, as you see number 2, it says never touch anything in inspection rooms and never sit on a bed. So, perfect example of this, my wife and I were just on a fam trip, and sure enough, we were there, and a lady, another agent, had nothing to do with our company, but another agent from another agency, she sat on the corner of the bed because she was trying to get a video of the stateroom. Well, what happened when she got up, some of the bedding got wrinkled. So now what that did is that ruined the shots for everyone else. So my wife and I fixed the bedding with the Royals' help that was in the room too. So just, you know, be cognizant of what you're doing, your surroundings. You might kick something accidentally or trip on a chair. Just make sure you put it back. But please don't touch anything, whether you're in a stateroom at a ship or in a hotel room. You never want to use their restrooms when you're inspecting rooms, and never sit on anything. Go ahead.
To be clear, this is not on a trip like if you go on a cruise, you can lay on the bed.
Yeah, this is
if you go on a trip and you're there for the duration of the trip, that's one thing. He's not talking about that. What he's talking about are inspections.
Yes.
When you go to see a ship in port, or when you go to check out a hotel that is brand new that may not have ever had any people stay in it before. These are the things we're talking about. Don't use the restroom. Don't sit on the bed. Don't take things from the room. Don't take things from the room even if you're on a cruise ship either.
Right.
However, what he's referring to is an inspection versus a fam trip. They're slightly different, but they're still offered to agents only and usually to familiarize yourself with the product. But there is a big differentiation there between the two.
Right, and when you're on fam trips, sometimes they'll say, hey, let's go inspect a room.
Right.
They do tie them in.
Sure.
All right, the don't list part 2. Don't take any items, like he said, from the room. Do not make any distractions of yourself or act unprofessionally. You know, make sure you're not going crazy when you're doing those inspections or being kind of nutty on the fam trip. Do not hold the group up during an inspection tour. That does happen a lot. If there's 100 people that's going to go see at a hotel room, let's say you're at the Hard Rock and you're all inspecting 2 or 3 rooms of the Hard Rock, certain suites, don't be the one standing at the front door videoing it while everyone else is there. Be quick and be smart and be swift going through, because holding up is not good, because that, you know, does give bad image.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to add to that one?
No.
Okay.
I think the next one, and this is probably one of the main reasons that we have these types of engagements with you guys, is a fam trip is just to familiarize yourself with the product. A fam trip is not to promote your product. A fam trip is not to sell your product. A fam trip is not to get more new customers. I cannot stress this to you enough. Should you do this on any fam trip, I will be immediately notified along with him. It is one of the things that is at the top of the list of don't do's in our industry. Now, if you're new to this or if you're new to the industry, it's understandable that you may not know that. But that is one of the cardinal things not to do. So just keep that in mind if you happen to attend a cruise, or you're going to an inspection, or looking at a new product of any kind. Don't use that opportunity to solicit business. That is not the time to do it. There's a time and a place for everything, and that happens to not be the time to do that type of networking.
And best example is when you're on these fam trips, do not wear a shirt that says, ask me how you can get a free cruise or get a free whatever. That is not the time to do it. Make sure you're always dressed professional and dress appropriate for these fam trips. And like he said, do not solicit your business to other guests or try to recruit other people into the program during your fam trip.
Right.
Next slide. The do's list. All right. This is very small for us to read here, so we're going to do the best we can. All right. Archer Travel approves the fam. So for you, if you get invited to a fam trip, please email me at reggie@archertravel.com for approval. because we have to make sure the fam trip is real, because there are some scams out there. So we want to make sure the fam trip is real. So please email me directly. If you don't hear from me, please call the office, ask for Rhonda. She will then assist you as well. So Reggie and Rhonda are the two. If for some reason Rhonda's out, it will go to Robert. Ask for Robert. So that will be for approval for your fam trip. Rarely do we deny it, but there has been some scams out there from other people trying to get, hey, come to this fam trip, pay me $1,000. And then someone, we want to make sure it's a true business.
Very
connect with the sales manager of the property. That's huge. Once you get there, the sales manager will introduce yourself, and you want to make sure you're connecting there. And then obviously take lots of photos and videos, because you're going to this is your book of business. So once you take all those photos and videos, you're going to go back into post-production of your own at your house and make your own videos, slideshow presentations, and all that. So it's very important that your phone's charged, you have cameras. Robert's very good with GoPros. So have all that equipment ready to go when you're going on your fam trips. Definitely the do's. Next list.
Absolutely. Like Reggie said, this is a huge way for you to promote your business. If you aren't taking pictures and experiencing while documenting the experience, then you're not maximizing your potential to be able to earn new business. And the things that we were talking about on the don't list, you absolutely can wear an Archer travel shirt or an Evolution travel shirt while you're filming or you're taking video or you're doing this, because we want you to be able to use these experiences and these memories to go back and to market your product and to sell your product when you get home, not on the trip. So, but yeah, absolutely. Like Reggie said, cameras, GoPros, those are amazing to take on trips. Little interviews in front of a cruise ship, in front of a hotel, anything like that. I know that there's more on this list here, but I'm not even going to attempt to read it because I can't.
It's about going, and then once you come back home, promoting your verbal and
And I mean, with Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. If you guys aren't building your business both online and in person, you're not maximizing your potential to be able to gain new clients. And sharing the photos, it's a great way. Instagram's very, very simple. It's very it's direct, and it's a great way to share your experience on the trip, but you can only do that if you take lots. So take a lot of photos and document the experience really well. And, that's always one of the best organic, basically free ways to promote your business. It works quite well. And
perfect example is on Tuesday, or yesterday, I was with Randy Rout from Royal. We did all my still photos of me on the Icon on the fam trip. And then tomorrow with Destination Specialist with Susie and I, it's going to be all videos of the Icon. So we're actually preaching, we're teaching what we preach. We're going to be doing that tomorrow. So it's very important that you do take a lot of video and camera work. And obviously dress professional, because remember, this is going to be when you're on camera, like Robert says, there's some of the videos I have, I'm wearing an Archer travel shirt. My wife's wearing an Archer travel shirt. There's others, I'm wearing a polo and she's wearing a nice, we were in Miami, it was a gorgeous day, so she was wearing a nice summer dress. So there's just different things, make sure you just dress appropriate when you're on there, because it is your book of business and you want to look as professional as possible. Next slide, please. Oh, part 3, there's a part 3. Look at the resort from a guest view. I think that's very important. I think,
of course,
this is very important that you look at it from a guest view as well, not just from your view, but what would a guest want? And enjoy yourself and show your appreciation to suppliers and hotel staff. Always say thank you and be so nice and courteous, because when you need to go back and you're selling that business, it's great if there's a problem, you can go to your BDM, you would go to Robert, and you can then work with them. So it's very important that you're always grateful and you say thank you. And, how's my parents raised me, and same with Robert, treat others how you want to be treated. So, I think it's always great to be appreciative of the BDM, the supplier, and the hotel staff, or the crew at a ship.
Yeah. Also, there's one other thing to remember. If you're experiencing something new and you don't know, simply ask. There's no bad questions. The only bad question is the one that you don't ask, that you assume maybe you know the answer to, or that you may not know the answer to, and you just wing it. And that's generally not what you want to do in a new experience, a new environment, maybe a new culture, maybe a new country. Always ask. It's way better to ask and to get the answer than to just hold it in and then just hope. So usually hotel staff, cruise staff, especially cruise staff, But in the industry as a whole, they're very helpful with people that are new to the experience. So just ask someone, and 9 times out of 10, probably 99 times out of 100, they're very willing and very good at assisting in things that you may not be familiar with. And that's the only way to really get familiar with them. So,
and speaking of assistance, if you have any questions, by all means, Archer Travel is here for you. You can email us at evocustomercare at archertravel.com or call us at 818-248-1511. We're here to support you. And if you get invited to a fam trip, please email me at reggie@archertravel.com. And I had to do a little bit of investigation. Rhonda and I will do the investigation to make sure it's a legit fam trip, and then we'll get you on your way. If you have any questions, obviously you can contact and ask for Robert. I'm sure we have a couple questions that you guys have. And sorry, we're not so upbeat and excited. We just want to make sure you understand that we are trying to make sure that we want you to enjoy your fam trip. We also want to make sure you know the do's and don'ts of a fam trip.
And we want to make sure that we keep getting offered fam trips. Because
Exactly.
if we break these rules, it's very important to remember they will stop giving them to us.
Great point. Great point, Robert. Great point. Question, Ryan. Do we have a question from the audience?
Yeah, the 2 main questions. There's several of each. One of them is, how do they get fam trips?
Okay, so the first one is based on your sales. So sales, if if Robert sells a lot of Virgin Cruise Line, he will get personally invited, and then it will come through Archer Travel and say, you'll get an email, and then we might get an email as well. So 1 is sales. 2 is right now, Robert and I are working with a cruise line to do a fam trip just for Evo agents. So we're working on that right now to do a cruise fam trip. So some of it's going to be built in internally with Archer Travel, and then we'll get the message out. But a lot of it has to do with sales if you're selling that kind of brand. It doesn't have to be, if it's, I'm going to make it up, if it's a Marriott hotel, it doesn't have to be the one in Las Vegas. It could be you just sell a lot of Marriotts, and maybe you get invited to one in Mexico. That's how they do FAMs. You want to add anything to that?
Yeah, just that we also do it internally. We do pick, there's spams in different in different products across the board, whether it's tours, cruises, hotels. We do pick some internally that we don't tell you guys about, and we send them out as offers to agents across our platform. So you might get one, you might not, but he has a good point. Selling them and selling their product is the best way to get it. But don't be surprised if you get an email one day and open it up and we have a fam trip available. So we get a lot of them that come across our desk. It's just, like Reggie said, sometimes they're not real. That happens, unfortunately, quite often. But it's just based on our performance as an agency and as your individual performance as an agent.
And that's a great question, by the way. Next question, Ryan.
I've kind of combined 2 questions here. One of them was a general question that a lot of people ask. This one is more specific, but they both tie into each other. It's about the information when they email you when they have a fam trip. So a lot of people want to know, what do they say to you? The second part of it comes from Travel Vibe. I asked a hotel about a familiarization trip, and they asked me when I'd be interested to come. So I need Archer to check the legitimacy first.
Great. Those are two parts. Great questions. The first one is, if you get an email for a fam trip, just forward me the entire email. That makes it so much easier. I got one today saying, hey, I got invited to a fam trip. I said, where? And they're like, I don't know. So make sure, just forward me the email. And if you got a phone call from someone, like let's say a hotel manager, make sure you get their name, phone number, and email address, because we have to do a little bit of research to make sure that it is real. So that's the first step, is just forward me the entire email that you do receive. And if it's just a phone call, send me get as much info as you can so we can follow up. Number 2 question, can you repeat that second part of that question, Ryan, so I make sure I get it right?
This person reached out to a hotel about going on a familiarization trip. The hotel responded, when would they like to come? So the question is, do they need to check with Archer on the legitimacy of that still? I
would, just to be safe, whatever the hotel is. You can keep that contact, maybe include me in the email, and just say, hey, we want to make sure this is, can you work with Reggie, the vice president of Archer Travel, to make sure that we're all on the same page. Because what it is, they might say, yeah, come, but you have to stay a 3-night minimum, but you have to pay for one of the 3 nights, or who knows, you have to pay resort fees. So you want to make sure that it's real, and the manager's going to be there. You're going to be able to see the hotel rooms. There's going to be inspections. There's a lot more to it. So make sure you're communicating with us, so you're not out there on an island by yourself.
And also to note, are you sure it came from a hotel?
Yeah, so just make sure.
That's just, I mean, you might very well be, and it may very well have come from a legitimate source.
Absolutely.
But you just want to make sure, that's all.
Yeah, just try to get everything in writing.
Yeah, and just because they ask for a fee or for money, that does not mean it's a scam, because fam trips do have a cost sometimes, at most times, associated with them. They're very much lower than the regular trip would cost, but just because there's an ask for money or an addition of a charge, that does not mean it's a scam. So just be aware of that. It might be a very low dollar amount for the taxes and the fees, like a cruise, or it could just be the taxes on a hotel night stay. So that doesn't disqualify it at all. So just keep that in mind.
And fam trips do have a schedule for you. So when you're on a fam trip, they might say, here's your itinerary. You have to attend those. Those aren't ones that you ignore. So let's say the fam trip and you get an email and it says, hey, here's your schedule for Saturday's events. And you look at it, it's not for you to go to the beach all day and ignore all those events. You have to attend those events. My last trip I was on, we attended all the events. We went and saw everything, and it was tiring, but we had a great time. But it is work. You're there to work as well. So you want to add
that's a great point that I think we did forget to mention up until this point.
Yeah.
A fam trip is a work trip. Whether it be a cruise or a hotel inspection, it's a work trip. He had to go on some seminars. I also had to go on some seminars when I was on the Virgin cruise. So you are there to work, and part of that, usually, I would say 90% of the time, does include attending travel agent only seminars where you're going to learn more about their product. You're going to learn more about the actual thing that they sell, and really it's going to help you in the long run, because you're going to be able to market it better to your clients and your customers, but also it's going to make you a better agent. And so, like Reggie was saying, those are pretty mandatory to attend, and if you don't, then
they let us know right away.
They will let us know, but they will also not send us as many, if any, the next time. So that's really important. You want to remember when you attend these.
We did have that happen to a resort in Puerto Vallarta. We sent some agents there. Actually, I didn't personally, but the hotel, these agents, 5 of these agents did a great job selling their resort. So they got invited to the new resort in Puerto Vallarta. And unfortunately, a couple of them did not attend any of the scheduled events. And so they notified us saying, well, if this is how it's going to be, we're not going to invite another group to do fam trips. So just make sure, don't ruin it for the next group. So always attend everything scheduled for you. And I hate to be that nailing that down, but it's so important that you do attend the scheduled events for you on the fam trips. Do we have any more questions, or we answered all of them?
Here's one. This is about conduct.
Okay.
If let's say somebody is on a fam trip and they're talking to a guest and their business comes up organically, would that be unethical for them to then
it's more about just I want to say common sense. What I would do is say, please, I don't want to talk about what I do right now, but if you want to give me a call, or shoot me on Instagram, like DM me, I guess is the word, on Instagram or Facebook, go ahead. But I wouldn't keep pressing it.
Look, you guys, this is
you don't know. It could be another agent or another agency setting you up. They could be setting you up to say, hey, look, this is what they're doing over at Archer Travel. So I would just say, yes, if you want to talk more, DM me. Love to talk to you after this event's over. Make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you guys use your best judgment.
Yeah, use your best judgment.
But honestly, there's a big difference between having a casual conversation with somebody on board of a ship where you're both attending, and then going and soliciting to multiple people along the trip. There's a huge difference. And I don't think that we need to sit up here and explain the differences between those. But, casual conversation about what you do, that's one thing. Going door to door and passing out flyers and soliciting, that is a no-no, So use your best judgment. And at the end of the day, remember, it's your business and you want to get re-invited to these things and you want to go on these things knowing that they want you there. So conduct yourself accordingly and everything should be fine.
And we appreciate everyone's time and energy on this. This is, these aren't the ones that, there's no giveaways on this one. This is more of just some information, some updates, because we haven't done a video of fam trips in many years. So from Robert and I, we want to say thank you. Have a safe and wonderful week. And keep booking. You guys are doing amazing. And remember, it's wave season right now. Make sure you keep booking all those cruises because they're selling out fast. So, Robert, anything else?
I just want to let you guys know your numbers are amazing. You guys are doing an amazing job. I get updates every day from different suppliers. With very few exceptions, we are up in some places as much as 7 to 10% on this month alone, just based on your sales. You guys are doing an awesome job. Look out for us next Wednesday at 4 o'clock. Ron and I are going to be doing every Wednesday, and we're going to move it from 5 to 4 so that you guys can, we can get a few more people that are interested in viewing this. So next Wednesday, it will be Ron and I live 4 o'clock. But like Reggie said, we really appreciate you guys, and we appreciate all the hard work you guys do, and we want to make sure that you guys are continuing to be able to go on these trips and learn about our products and the suppliers' products and keep selling them, and just good job on the sales, and I can't say enough good things, so thank you all.
Thank you. Bye-bye.